Hello, I'm Dr. Amanda Davis, licensed clinical psychologist and secretary of the board for Youth Empowered to Prosper. Welcome today to our second training on seeking safety, our mental health program that we are integrating into the mentorship curriculum for young women who win our Youth Empowered to Prosper mentorship curriculum. I'm here today to talk about detaching from emotional pain, also known as grounding. This is on page 125 if you are using Seeking Safety hard copy book. And I'll also be showing you through screen sharing what the handouts look like from this particular section. So to contextualize a little bit, detaching from emotional pain or grounding skills can be used for very minimal distress. So sitting through a boring lecture or being in traffic or being annoyed at the dinner table with your in-laws. Being so from kind of everyday stresses all the way up to really high level intense triggering reactions, particularly with people who have trauma, which Seeking Safety is designed for. Everything between the spectrums of emotional distress, grounding skills can be helpful for all of them. A lot of the information in this chapter is meant to apply across the board. Some of the skills may be more applicable to some situations and some may be more applicable to other situations. I'm just going to be sharing with you a lot of the different, just the list of a lot of the different grounding skills that are included in the Seeking Safety chapter. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen right now so that you can see the from the book. It's here. So this may be a little bit small depending on how you're viewing this video. I hope that it is visible. So this is the Seeking Safety handout about grounding techniques. It has a little description of what is grounding. Grounding is a set of simple strategies to detach from emotional pain, and it gives some examples of that, including anger, sadness, drug cravings, self-harm impulses, again, across that spectrum of emotional distress. And grounding works by focusing outward on the external world rather than inward towards yourself. So you can think of grounding as using distractions, centering, finding a safe place outside yourself, looking outward, or having a healthy detachment from your emotions. So the purpose is to be able to tolerate the emotions that you're having, not to push them away and avoid. That's not really the idea with grounding. It's really to be able to say, I am here centered in a safe place as I experience my feelings. And so that's where the skills are really trying to help a person get to. So grounding can be done at any time, any place, anywhere, ideally. Being able to see the positive impact of grounding helps to find which strategies help person to person. Grounding is not the same as relaxation training. It's a little bit more active and focuses on distraction. Again, not so much centering within the person. That's more like a mindfulness or meditation based approach. Also very helpful, but that's not what this is. This is more about distracting, moving away from your feelings in order to create a safe space to experience them. The next section is all on ways of grounding. So there are three major ways: mental, physical, and soothing. The mental grounding, there are many examples here. For example, just something that I like to use in my practice is describing the environment. So you can ask people to describe aloud the colors in their environment or in their own minds, counting the number of blue things, counting the number of leaves on the tree that they can see outside their window, just something that kind of pulls their attention and focus to something very concrete in the environment. Being able to just count anything is helpful with this. Try to put things in categories in your mind, seeing the alphabet and counting. Those are all just strategies to engage the mind. Then there's also physical grounding strategies. So using your physical environment to pull your attention again away from your internal experiences. Touching any kind of object, holding onto a chair that you're sitting on, being able to feel your feet flat on the floor, stretching, jumping up and down, having a hot or cold shower, or touching ice or water, focusing on breathing. Now, breathing is internal, but thinking of it as the breath, so focusing on inhale and exhale rather than necessarily how it feels in the body. That could be a little bit linked to the emotional experience, but more like counting breaths and identifying inhales and exhales. And then for soothing grounding, saying kind statements to yourself. You can get through this. You're having a difficult time. You've experienced this before and you've been okay. Thinking of your favorite animal season, time, TV show, people in your life. Saying a coping statement. This feeling will pass. I can handle this. Planning something for yourself in the future. That's a nice treat. Like if I sit through this boring lecture, I'm going to go get an ice cream cone, whatever it may be, to kind of help live through that emotionally challenging experience with a little bit more safety and calm. It also has this really nice section on if grounding does not work. If someone says, oh, I tried that, I did the breathing, I've been talking to my head, but I'm still just so caught up in the emotion, or when I try to do that, I really don't feel any better. Oftentimes it's because the person isn't practicing for long enough or isn't practicing enough different grounding strategies. So sometimes in really intensive moments, you might want to try more than one strategy at a time. So sometimes just say, oh, well, I breathed deeply and it didn't work, or I counted the number of leaves, but then I came right back to this distress that I was having, thinking about, well, maybe you need to be doing all of the things all at once or in a longer period of successive practices. Also, starting the grounding as early as possible. So sometimes people think to do grounding when they're already at a crisis point. So trying to anticipate, I feel the discomfort coming up, or I see that I'm going to be in traffic for longer. Let me start my breathing now. Let me grab my calming music, or call a friend, whatever it may be, to help just to move away from the distress of that feeling. So preparing in advance, creating a cassette tape. That's funny, let's say a voice memo of grounding messages, thinking about why it could work, how it might work for other people, or in little small ways, how it might have worked at other times, and just continue to practice. Really, grounding mindfulness is a practice. The more you practice grounding in times where your emotions are at lower levels, the easier it is to practice grounding when you are more emotionally distressed. And here's the idea for the commitment, which is again at the end of every Seeking Safety chapter, there is an idea for a commitment. Some options here: practicing grounding for 10 minutes or more every day, rereading the handouts, circling methods that they might want to try. So these are things you can do with your mentee. If they're having a difficult time coping with their emotions, you can go through this chapter and have them commit to, can you practice this for a period of time? Can you highlight the ones that work best? And we try some together and then apply it. And also using the safe coping sheet here. What's the old way that you used to cope with something, getting sort of drowning in your feelings, and then here's a way that I can do it that applies the concepts to these, or these concepts from the chapter to the experience. And that is it for grounding. So these are strategies that everybody can use. I really encourage you as mentors to try this as well. Let me stop the share so you can see my face. So the more you practice emotional care, the easier it is to communicate how to do that to your mentee. As you read through the Seeking Safety chapter on grounding, I really recommend trying some of the strategies yourself, so you can also bring a personal experience and say, it really helps me when I count to a certain number, or it really helps me to really focus on the elements in my environment that bring a sense of peace or calm, or helps me to go in my mind to my favorite vacation that I've ever been on. Whatever it is that might help you, might be an idea, at least to show your mentee that you know that it works. That can be a really helpful piece of encouragement for her as well. I'm very open to any questions, comments. You can reach me at my email, or through Miss Lisa, or through Alex if you don't have my email. And I am really grateful for all the work that you as mentees or mentors do, but the mentors to carry forward the mission of Youth Empowered to Prosper. Thank you for caring for all of our young people and for their mental health in particular.